Hi everyone, welcome back to Eleanor's Restoration, video 28, which is going to be the strip down of the rear subframe. So if you've watched my previous videos, you'll know that I've got a fully built up subframe there as part of my parts hoard that I got a wee while ago. So the plan is to use that mainly. This one I'm just stripping down because I want to see if there's any usable parts and if the subframe is going to be salvageable. Subframe's here in front of me, you'll not be able to see it because it's off camera, but what I'm going to need is man's best friend, because the rear subframes on a Mini's got the reputation, you know, it's low to the ground, they rot out and they're not cheap. For a heritage one you're over £400, for an aftermarket about £220, £230. So if I can get this stripped, resprayed, painted and have it as a spare, a backup, or for Ed out there, perfect. If I can't, I've got one there, you know, just one of those things. I'm anticipating the bolts are going to give me a struggle, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to wire brush them with a wire wheel attachment, and I'm going to put WD-40 on and let them soak for a wee while. And then I'm just going to strip it completely, and I'm going to take you guys every step of the way, so hopefully it's of help to someone out there. So let's have a look at this subframe. So I'm going to take most of the heavy stuff off on the floor because it's heavy when it's fully assembled. The rust probably adds about £2 to be honest. That's in weight, not money. So as we're looking at it just now, it's upside down. Makes it easier to get to some of the bolts, and then if I need to I can turn it the other way around. As you can see, as I was saying, it's, you know, it's a lot, it looks terrible to look at, but underneath it is solid. From what I've looked at, there might be bits inside that are crusting away. That's fine. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get everything removed, and then I'm going to try the wire brush on it and see how actually it comes up. Going back to previous comments I've said, I would love to have a sandblaster or bead blaster so I could get into every nook and cranny, but you need to bear in mind when you're doing these cars, budgets and things like that, and space you have available to you and time. So yeah, as much as it would be great to have all these tools, it's not always practical. So at the end of the day, we're all the same. We're all trying to do things on a budget in a garage in our own means. So yeah, let's get this thing stripped down. Right, first thing we're going to get off, shock absorbers. 9/16. Who knows when these would have been replaced last, so just for some leverage. Quite disappointed on that, it didn't give me any fight at all. Yeah, let's jinx it. So as I said before, I gave it a wire brush and a few days worth of WD-40. That's all the bolts I could see. Let's see if I can get through all this without using any heat. Nut, washer. Guess where that's going? the bin. Right, same as this front subframe, everything's two sides, everything's duplicate, so side 2. Right, so we're going to get the cones and the trumpets out, and these should be straightforward, not like the front subframe where you have to compress the cone. This droop in here, once the shock absorber is removed, there's enough lift in here that slackens off this, and this should just all come out. The only thing that will possibly be holding it in is rust. Yeah, the problem, if I can show you, similar to the front one, is the corrosion firstly on the cone to the subframe, terrible, and secondly the corrosion between the trumpet and the cones quite bad. So I'm going to try and get some WD-40 in here, and then I'm going to get a hammer and pry bar and just see if I can get something to help separate them. So you can see that's defeated me for the moment anyway. This is the other side. It's just as bad, just as much trouble it's given me. Well and truly seized on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move on to the handbrake and the brakes and get them taken off. And in the meantime I'm going to soak these for a few days in WD-40, see if that's going to make any difference. And I'll come back to that. By doing that it'll give me a chance to get some of the brakes out of the way as well, so I get more access. And then hopefully when I come back it'll put up less of a fight, but we'll see. We're now going to get rid of the handbrake cable. Two different kinds depending on the age of the Mini. The one I've got obviously is 1990, so it's two separate ones. So this end here is what was attached to the end of the handbrake. That cable runs under the car, comes to this joining union here, and you can see basically when this is pulled, it pulls this second cable, and it runs the same on both sides, so it runs can have a look at that underneath. So, runs down here, along here, through this bracket, whatever you want to call it, on the trailing arm, up here, goes up here. It's attached by a clevis pin and a split pin, and that basically attaches to the handbrake mechanism within the drum. So what we're going to do is we're just basically, I'm going to get the clips, we'll see how easy they come off, clips off on each side, get the clevis pin out, feed this back and just take it free, so it's no getting in the way pretty much. And it goes without saying this is getting replaced anyway, because they're not dear and it looks terrible. I mean, like, that's breaking away in my hand as we speak. Brittle and brutal. So yeah, let's get this pin out, this knocked through, and this fed back. Haha. So the only thing holding that in place is rust. I could just cut it off, but I'm trying to show people the right way to do it, how they would do it if it was on the car, and obviously if it's on the car you can't get in with an angle grinder, so if I can avoid it I am trying to avoid the angle grinder, but you've seen before, sometimes it's unavoidable. Just remember the spring's under tension. So there you go, that's that released. Now it's just a case of releasing the other side and feeding the wire back and giving it its new home in the bin. So that's the other side off. It flopped me a bit more than the first side that you seen me taking off. So you can see a bit better here. This bit goes inside the drum here. We can have a look at that later on. Goes through here, attached by the clevis pin, similar to the pedals, and then a split pin goes through and holds it in place. So that's now undone. As is the other side. It's just a case of feeding it through round here, and then lifting the cable away. Right, because I'm having problems getting this off, because this arm and trumpet's still in place, I'm going to cheat a wee bit, I'm going to cut this. I know. So normally when the trumpet's out here, it frees up this area down here and this will just pull out. But because the trumpet's a bit stuck just now, I'm trying to remove stuff round about it. So I can get better access in to try and free it out. So most of the time this will be taken off to be replaced anyway. So it can be cut. The problem is just putting the new one in, that needs obviously fed through, so that's when you need to get in here with better access. But let's find out how strong this brake cable is. One side. This is the small brake cable that's at the front. Again, I will be replacing this, but this may be getting reused, the bracket, so I'll just keep the cable at the moment. It's handy to keep for the fixings here, and also if you need to measure the length. There we go, it's just fiddly. You can see there's a little, I don't know, stop brake on here that obviously fits round to stop it slipping and grabbing on here. But there you go, you can see on there. Right, handbrake cable removed. And just like the Mini, not to plan. Like I say, if this trumpet came off fine on a high low, whatever it is, that would just thread through, no problem. But because this is still in place, it made it tight, which meant this was catching and it was just too wide for it. So that's why I cut it. So we're going to move on to the brake pipe. So first one we're going to start with, we're just going to take it off from here which is a 9/16, and here, which is a 9/16. And we're going to take the splitter off the bracket here, which is a 7/16. No point separating any of these here because they're not going to get reused, they're getting binned. I might keep it in case I need this brake splitter, but no, you know what, I won't be keeping it because I won't be using that brake splitter. But I'll keep it for template's sake and things like that. So yep, as you can see I've cleaned that wet stuff on its WD-40. Same there. Let's just get it off. So there we go, that's this side just undone, this side undone. It was a bit stuck, this bit. Basically underneath you have a spring washer, then a nut, and this just comes off. Same with this side, just undone, and then basically this just comes loose. Same with this side, and the only thing holding it in is this little bracket here. And there we go. Just bear in mind there'll still be some brake fluid in there. But that's the rear hose off. So you can see the splitter here. This is the end here that takes it to the front of the car. Comes in, and then you've just seen me take the rest off. So we're getting there, slowly. Right. Just want to get the rear flexi hoses detached from the subframe now, because if I can get that off, then that means the only thing holding the trailing arm on is the two end bolts, and it's free from the brakes. And the only thing in my way is this bolt and this bolt, because if we look at the flexi hose I've got to go on the new subframe, it just, as we see it here, that's threaded through, and there's a bolt on securing it on there. So let's get the bolts off. I'm not going to film it because you've seen bolts coming off 1,000 times. So I'll do that off camera and I'll tell you how it went. Right, this bolt is coming slowly. It just needs cleaned up a bit on the thread to get past it. When you're taking it off, just make sure you grab this bit here, otherwise if you turn this you'll just twist the flexi hose. What I've done is I've just been round all the bits again, putting some more WD-40 in, especially in the trumpets and the cones here. And I'm going to leave it there at this. I'm going to soak it over the next few days, let it really soak in, and then we'll come back with the second part. There's not really an awful lot more to take off, it's just rusty bolts that you're fighting with, as you can see with this, and if you've worked on it before you'll know that. But I do plan to get this stripped, and I do plan to get the trailing arms off and completely stripped, just to see how it all goes together, and hopefully show some of you guys that can't see it as well when it's on a car. So hopefully somebody got used to this first part anyway. We'll move on to a part 2 and hopefully the final part of the rear subframe stripped down. But as always guys, thanks for watching, take care, and we'll see you in the next video. Cheers.